Good morning, everyone. So I'm about to leave to pick up a Tesla Model 3 long range for the weekend. I'm really excited to finally be able to drive a Tesla and to be able to compare it directly to the Polestar 2. Now, I don't think I've seen anyone who owns a Polestar or has spent a significant amount of time driving the Polestar then go and compare it to the Tesla Model 3. I've seen quite a lot of people who have a Tesla Model 3 or other electric cars spend time with the Polestar, but I think this will be really nice, hopefully, for people watching these videos to see what it's like the other way around. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out the Tesla Model 3, the charging, the consumption, the range, the efficiency, the space, practicality, infotainment system, all those things that are going to be really interesting to see in the Tesla Model 3. So in order to do this, I was spending some time online trying to figure out where I could borrow or hire a Tesla Model 3 from, and I found a company called eVision. They are actually not that far away from me, and they are specialists in electric cars, and they've got an amazing portfolio of electric cars that you can hire from them. Now, this is not a sponsorship or any kind of endorsement as such, because I'm renting the vehicle from them. I'm paying to hire this car, but I did think that it was going to be a really nice thing to mention that because it was difficult, and I had no idea where you would go to hire really nice electric cars, and eVision are a good website to go to for that. Okay, so we're driving to a place called Rochester, which is apparently 1 hour and 4 minutes. We are showing a total of 40% on arrival, and the trip computer, well, the data on the screen is showing 190 mile range of the battery level at 71%. So let's just reset the trip computer and we will head off. Okay, so we've arrived here at eVision, and that was probably the best consumption I've actually seen so far, 34.3 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. And that was a 1 hour drive on the motorway. I mean, I know the average speed says 53 miles per hour, but it was a proper motorway drive. There wasn't much slow driving or anything like that. And I was doing 70 miles an hour, sometimes a touch more, 72 maybe. So I wasn't, trying to beat the system in any way. But if we use 72.5 usable in the battery kilowatt hours divided by 34.3, we get a range of 210 miles. So, that's really nice. Like, I'm starting to see much better numbers from the Polestar. Now, I have had the update, as I've mentioned before, and it is 9 degrees, so with slightly warmer temperatures, that could be one of the contributing factors to that. So I just dropped my phone, but my main point here was to actually have a look at whether or not we have much of an altitude change. So I'm going to have a look on the altimeter on my phone. It's about 70 meters where I live, 70 to 80 meters, and yeah, it's 16 meters. So we're pretty much at sea level now. So that will contribute to a little bit of benefit in terms of range. There's not much wind today, so I wouldn't say that it's mainly from the south. So there's not a big contributing factor to this journey. Now, what we'll see though is driving back in the Tesla, see how that compares. Normally what would happen for me in the Polestar is if I was to drive home now, it would actually improve because the battery's warm, the car's up to temperature, things like that. And it is going to get warmer this afternoon. So it's a bit of an unfair advantage, really. Obviously, the Tesla's going to have an advantage driving home. But yeah, it's really nice to get here and to actually see a sub 35 kilowatt hours per 100 mile number on the trip computer. So yeah, let's hop out and go and collect this car. Okay, so I'm standing outside here at eVision, and this is a great collection of electric cars available here to hire. And actually behind me, there's a helicopter. I believe that belongs to the owner, and that is not an electric car, but yeah, I've never been anywhere that manages to fit a helicopter into a hangar with such a small space. But this is really cool. This collection of Teslas available, and my Polestar over there, and then we've got some BMW i3s, just a great range of electric vehicles available to hire from eVision. So this is, if you want to try a Tesla for the weekend, or even longer before committing to buying, this is a great option to be able to rent a Model 3 or a Model S from a company like eVision. Okay, so I'm sat in the Tesla Model 3 long range, and yeah, this is really exciting. It is very nice to get into this car and have a good look around. So I'm sitting in the car. It's got this really nice white, I guess, fake leather. But it looks really, really good. I imagine it's difficult to keep clean, but it really looks great. And this is a nice red car. The colors are great. You can see some of the exterior shots here. This is a really nice looking car. It's I guess it's an acquired taste if you like red for your cars, but if you do, then the Tesla red is really nice. So initial impressions are, yes, it is a very, very nice interior. I haven't looked around in detail, haven't driven it, haven't gone through many things at all, but it is a very nice interior. It's spacious. It is a little strange having nothing in front of you here, just this one screen initially, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Now, yeah, so let's have a look at the screen and navigate home. So this is the screen, and it is quite a bit bigger than the Polestar screen, but of course it's landscape instead of portrait. I sign into the app pretty much straight away. You can see that here. It's very easy. You just, yeah, well, I mean, in this case, I'm hiring the car, so all I was given was the login details. Signed in, and I'm connected straight away, and I can see, you know, fiddle around with the details, which I'll go through a lot more later. It's saying 305 miles range, and here on the screen it shows where I am at the moment, and we're going to just try and navigate home. So yeah, let's type in my home address. It's showing a route there. It's exactly the same route that we took to get here. 59 miles, taking 1 hour, arriving at 12:07, and yeah, we might as well head off. So I'll push this button here. We've got a few things we can change. Volume, trip planner, online routing, reroute if it saves more than 5 minutes. That's good, so you've got some choices there to set up if you want. So yeah, a little bit later on when I get home, I'm going to spend some time with the car, figure out all these things in detail, and I'll do a separate video comparing my thoughts on this to the system that I'm used to in the Polestar. But for now, yeah, let's head off. Okay, so I am driving now and getting used to this car. One thing I was going to mention that was really great in the Polestar, as I got to eVision, I got stuck behind this car that was literally pouring black smoke. You can see that on the screen now. This is the dash cam of the car in front. I could not smell a thing. The filtration system in the Polestar is very, very good. It's the first car I've ever driven where you can drive behind a car pouring that much smoke and not smell anything. So yeah, I am driving on my way back now in the Tesla, and yeah, I mean, what I want to say in this initial impressions video is that I'm going to have this car for 3 days. So I'm not going to claim or even try to become an expert on a Tesla in a few days. I actually find it really annoying when I watch reviews of cars where someone has the car for a day or two and like kind of talks about it as if they know the car in detail and in depth by spouting loads of figures and numbers and data that they've read online, and then sort of missing the point about the car. So I'm not going to try and do that at all. All I'm going to do is try and enjoy this car and make a few videos based on my perspective of it as a Polestar driver. So getting into this car initially, it's really, really nice inside. The display's excellent, but it's really I think the ride quality is very different to the Polestar. It's not very comfortable. That's my initial feeling. Through some of those slightly bumpy roads in that town, I found it quite uncomfortable. Now the Polestar, I don't have the performance pack. I have just the standard version, and I've always thought the suspension to be quite firm. But to me, it feels like actually the Polestar suspension is very well tuned because it handles extremely well, but it's also very comfortable on the road. That's just an initial impression. The Tesla also seems to be a lot noisier, but again, I'm going to test this properly, and I'm going to do it on the same stretch of road that I do the Polestar one on, so that we can make it fair, because obviously road surface does make a big difference to it. But yeah, initially this is a really cool car, and I'm enjoying driving it, but it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, that's for sure. Okay, so we're about halfway home now, and the trip computer's saying 308 watt hours per mile. That's, yeah, pretty good, I guess. I have no experience. I know the Tesla are more efficient than the Polestar for sure, and I'm not used to seeing those kinds of numbers. So, yeah, it looks like that would represent at the moment about 10% better in terms of consumption, but it may prove that the Tesla's even more efficient than that. But initial, yeah, more impressions of driving. It's a really nice car to drive. The forward visibility is excellent on the front window, because the front of the car seems to be so low down and slopes, you can almost like see the road right in front of you, which is kind of weird, but it's really nice. Like, there's lots of light, and this glass roof above here is really good too, although it's quite dark tinted, so it doesn't let in anywhere near as much light as the Polestar roof does. But equally, I would say, and I'm only speculating here, perhaps in the summer when it's really hot with a lot of sunlight shining down on you, it may be a little bit cooler than the Polestar roof, which to me looks like it's going to let in a lot more of that sunlight heat. The autopilot, the auto driving feature of the car is really good so far. Autopilot is something that Tesla are excellent at, but what I really like is the way the display shows the vehicles on the road. I think that's really great, because it gives you the confidence that it knows that you're passing a truck, or that there's some cones, a motorbike's coming down the side, and it shows those vehicles. It's not just little blocks, but it's very good at interpreting the size of the vehicle that's next to you, and that fills you as a driver with a lot of confidence. It's something that the Polestar Pilot Assist is really good, and I've been using it a lot, but you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, you just have to trust it. I think Tesla's system is quite good at making you feel more confident that the car knows exactly what's going on. But I can only assume that on Volvo and Polestar, their cars are really good at that kind of thing, and it's all there behind the scenes. It's not presented to you, the driver. The maps display is really good. The sound system in this particular car is, to me, nowhere near as good as the Polestar. I fiddled around with the settings a little bit, but yeah, the Polestar's Harman Kardon setup is definitely a step ahead, in my personal opinion. Spotify works well on here. I've got my music running through Bluetooth, and again, that's amazing how quickly I realized that actually I love the music apps on the Polestar. Yes, they're not all perfect, the integration of the app, but the fact that I can control the music on Tidal through the display, because I use Tidal quite a lot, is really good. And suddenly you get into this car and you think, oh great, I go back to Spotify, that's all very well, but I've got to then do it through my phone, and that's okay, but it's just, to me, it's a lot more fiddly. I like being able to control it on the screen and be able to choose which music app to use. Other initial impressions, yeah, it's a nice car for sure. It is a bit noisy, it definitely is. The wind and road noise is much more distracting, and I think that impacts the quality of the sound when you're listening to music, because I find myself having to turn it up a lot more than I would in the Polestar, and then that sort of is, you're battling with that road noise. But yeah, I'm enjoying the car so far, and it's actually, yes, this is one thing that I really like. The automatic driving, the autopilot, doesn't require as much hands-on input into the steering wheel to keep it happy. It will flag up with a little message and a little warning, but you only really have to gently touch the steering wheel to get that to go away. On the Polestar, you have to put a lot of input in, and I actually find that kind of annoying. Like, the Polestar, it does it so often that you find yourself having to pull on the steering wheel, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So what I'd love to see is Polestar dial down that requirement so that you just have to make a little gentle input, a bit more like the Tesla system is set up. Okay, so we're back home now, and yeah, really nice driving the car back, and you can see here on the display since last charge it's showing 59.7 miles and an average of 290 watt hours per mile. So that is that's pretty good. Like, 29 is not something I've seen on the Polestar, but as we saw on the way out there, it was actually more efficient than I'm used to, and it's 10 degrees, so it's a lot warmer. And then coming back, the Tesla demonstrates, yeah, about 10% improvement in efficiency compared with the run outbound on the Polestar. And it's really nice. It takes a bit of time to get used to any other car that you drive. And yeah, the thing that I was really experimenting with was the autopilot on the way back. It is very effective. There's no doubt that it works really well. But I thought it would be so much better than the Polestar system, but actually it isn't. It's better in some ways, but then it's not as good in others. And it's almost like if you could hybridize the two, it would be great. So I love the way that Tesla displays all the data on the screen, so you can see what it's seeing on the road. And I also like the fact that the Tesla sort of feels very confident. It stays very well in the middle of the lane. It doesn't sort of stay too close to the edge. That's really good. But and I also like the fact that you don't have to put a lot of input into the steering wheel to keep it happy, and it doesn't keep making noises at you if you don't pull too hard. But the thing that I didn't really like so much is that if you do apply some pressure to the steering wheel, it disengages very easily. The Polestar doesn't do that. The Polestar actually lets you put a little bit of more input in before it will disengage. And that is quite nice, because if you just want to make like a little bit of like, you think, oh, I'm a little close, and just move yourself to the side, and then you let go and it will just carry on. Whereas I found the Tesla just disengaging every time. And of course it makes quite a loud noise, which pauses the music. But again, this is just something that you get used to in each individual car. I'm just trying to draw some comparisons here. I'm not saying one's better than the other. And also the Polestar, there's a section of the road that I drive back in from the A23 towards Haywards Heath. It is just it's just a 2-lane road with nice clear markings down the middle. The Polestar will actually work quite well on that road with pilot assist. The Tesla would not do it at all. It would the active cruise control was fine, but it wouldn't capture and it wouldn't drive down that road. So it's quite interesting to see that the Polestar behind the scenes, there's a lot of very good stuff going on, and it is actually very forgiving and will automatically drive on some of the roads that are a lot worse with worse markings, whereas the Tesla just gave up. It couldn't even figure out what it was supposed to do on those particular roads. Now the truth is, those are not really the roads that the car's designed to be driving on autopilot. It's meant for dual carriageways and motorways. So I'm not criticizing it in any way, but I'm just highlighting that I expected this to be significantly better, but it isn't. It's just different. And if you could somehow bring the two together, that would be great. With the Polestar, I just think that the pressure on the steering wheel, if they could just sort that issue out, that would be really good. I think that would solve many of the concerns that I've got. But yeah, overall impressions are really nice so far. This video is just an overall impressions video. Initial impressions, not overall. Sorry, that's the wrong word. And yeah, initial impressions are, it is, as everyone says, super efficient, uses quite a lot less energy. It's a very neat and tidy interior, which I really like. And yeah, I think the ride handling and the noise is... it's not as good as the Polestar. That's something that I think is important to pick up on an initial impression, because you get used to those types of things. But I'll do some more tests on that over the next few days. Okay, so just looking at the range and total consumption of the drive back in this Tesla Model 3 long range. Now this is the 2019-2020 car, so this is not one of the latest versions available that's come out this year. And that means that it's got according to my research on Google, a 78 kilowatt hour battery, which is the same capacity as the Polestar. So for these tests, I'm going to use a usable battery amount of 72.5. Now you can, if you look this up online, obviously you can see different numbers, and I'm sure people will have different opinions on this, because these are kind of estimated numbers. So I thought, just to keep it simple, I will stick with that. Now, some resources online say 73.5 estimated, and for the Tesla, and for the Polestar I've seen 75, but then I've also seen lower than that. So I thought, you know what, there's no point like trying to find the exact number or trying to find someone who's proven the exact. What I will do is I'll just stick with 72.5 for both. So what that means is on this car, since it was charged, which was this morning before I picked it up, we have 291 watt hours per mile. So that is 29.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which basically, if we just take that 72.5 and divide it by 29.1, we get 2.49. So that's 249. Based on that calculation, that's a range of about 249 miles. Now, the Polestar this morning driving that was 34.5 approximately. So 72.5 divided by 34.5 is 210. So Yes, it's not a back-to-back test, and I'm just sort of using this as a rough initial impressions kind of number, that you can see how much more efficient. So that's about 40 miles difference. So 40 miles, you were looking at like 16 to 20% efficiency improvement in the Tesla. So yeah, based on driving this morning, the Polestar proved it could do 210 miles approximately on a single charge, and the Tesla was closer to 250 miles. And what we'll have to see is we'll see how it goes over the next few days, and I'll do some more fair comparative tests rather than just to drive like that, because you have to do an A, B, and then back to point A test to make it really a level playing field. But that's just a rough number, and it's interesting to see the difference on this drive today. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe down below. There are going to be a whole load more videos that feature my thoughts on the Tesla as a Polestar driver coming very soon. Thank you, and I'll be back again with another video very soon.